Hey everyone, welcome back to the culture of Bitcoin. Firstly, I would like to start by apologizing for today's video being a bit longer than usual. We've packed in a lot of valuable information as we debunk some of the biggest Bitcoin myths and misconceptions out there. I promise it's worth the extra time and you'll come away with a clearer understanding of Bitcoin's true potential and challenges. Thank you so much for your patience and for sticking with us. Let's dive right in. With major Bitcoin news breaking almost every day, it's easy to get lost in the hype and misinformation. Today we're tackling some of the biggest myths and misconceptions about the world's first cryptocurrency. If you've ever wondered whether Bitcoin's value is based on nothing, or if it's too volatile for real-world use, this video is for you. We're separating fact from fiction without shying away from legitimate risks to uncover the truth about the world's most popular cryptocurrency. A lot of people are talking about Bitcoin, but how many of them actually understand it? Don't worry, we're going to break it all down. We'll examine the common criticisms and see how they hold up against the facts. By the end of this video, you'll have the knowledge to form your own informed opinions about Bitcoin. So buckle up, because we're about to dive deep into the fascinating and often misunderstood world of Bitcoin. Let's get started. Let's kick things off with one of the most common misconceptions. Bitcoin is a bubble. You've probably heard this one before, maybe even thought it yourself. It's true that Bitcoin has seen its fair share of price swings, and those dramatic spikes and dips can look a lot like classic bubble behavior. But here's the thing, declaring Bitcoin a bubble based solely on price volatility is a superficial analysis. It ignores the underlying fundamentals and the revolutionary technology that gives Bitcoin its value. A bubble is typically characterized by an asset's price being completely detached from its intrinsic value, driven purely by speculation. Think back to the dot-com bubble of the late 90s. Companies with no revenue, no viable product, were seeing their valuations skyrocket simply because of the hype surrounding the internet. While some of those companies went on to become giants, many more crashed and burned when the bubble burst. Bitcoin, on the other hand, is a different beast. It's a decentralized digital currency with a finite supply, operating on a secure and transparent blockchain. Its value proposition lies in its potential to revolutionize the financial system, offering an alternative to traditional fiat currencies and centralized institutions. To understand why Bitcoin isn't just a bubble, we need to look beyond the price fluctuations and understand its core value propositions. First and foremost, Bitcoin is scarce. There will only ever be 21 million Bitcoins, which gives it a level of scarcity that you don't find with traditional fiat currencies. This scarcity is written into Bitcoin's code and it cannot be changed. Second, Bitcoin is decentralized. It operates on a global network of computers, meaning no single entity controls it. This makes it resistant to censorship and government interference, which is a huge draw for many people. Third, Bitcoin is secure. Transactions are recorded on the blockchain, an immutable and transparent public ledger. This makes it incredibly difficult for anyone to cheat the system or double spend Bitcoins. These fundamental characteristics give Bitcoin inherent value, and that's what sets it apart from speculative bubbles. Now, I'm not saying Bitcoin's price won't fluctuate. Volatility is part and parcel of being an emerging asset class. but it's important to remember that every significant price drop in Bitcoin's history has been followed by a new all-time high. This suggests that Bitcoin is not simply going away. Instead, it's going through cycles of boom and bust as more people discover it, understand it, and invest in it. The key takeaway here is that dismissing Bitcoin as just another bubble is short-sighted. It's a revolutionary technology with the potential to reshape the financial landscape as we know it. So before you jump on the Bitcoin is a bubble bandwagon, take the time to understand what Bitcoin is, how it works, and why it matters. You might be surprised by what you discover. Myth number 2, Bitcoin has no real-world uses. This is another common misconception that we're going to debunk right now. While it's true that Bitcoin is still in its early stages of adoption, it's already being used for a surprising number of real-world transactions. One of the most compelling use cases for Bitcoin is remittances, sending money across borders. Traditional remittance services can be slow, expensive, and often require dealing with multiple intermediaries. Bitcoin offers a faster, cheaper, and more efficient alternative. With Bitcoin, you can send money to anyone in the world with an internet connection, and the transaction fees are significantly lower than traditional methods. This is a game changer for people who rely on remittances to support their families back home. But remittances are just the tip of the iceberg. Bitcoin is also being used for online payments, microtransactions, and even as a store of value in countries experiencing hyperinflation. In fact, there's a growing ecosystem of businesses and organizations that accept Bitcoin as payment, from major retailers like Microsoft and Expedia to smaller independent businesses. And as Bitcoin's infrastructure continues to develop, we can expect to see even more innovative use cases emerge. For example, the Lightning Network, a second layer technology built on top of Bitcoin, is enabling near instantaneous and practically free transactions. This opens up a whole new world of possibilities for micropayments, streaming money, and other applications that require fast and cheap transactions. Beyond these practical applications, Bitcoin also has the potential to empower individuals and communities that lack access to traditional financial services. In many parts of the world, people are unbanked or underbanked, meaning they don't have access to basic financial services like bank accounts, loans, and credit cards. Bitcoin can provide a lifeline for these individuals, giving them a way to store and manage their money, send and receive payments, and even access financial services like microloans. So, the next time you hear someone say that Bitcoin has no real-world uses, remember that it's already making a tangible difference in people's lives. And as adoption continues to grow, we can expect to see Bitcoin play an even more significant role in the global economy. All right, myth number 3, Bitcoin doesn't have real value. This one always gets a chuckle out of me. It's like saying the internet doesn't have real value because you can't hold it in your hand. See, value isn't about physical form, it's about utility. It's about what a thing does, what problem it solves. For centuries, gold was considered valuable. Why? Because it was scarce, durable, and easily divisible. It was a good store of value. People agreed it had value, and they built a system around that agreement. Now, Bitcoin shares some of those characteristics with gold. It's scarce. There will only ever be 21 million Bitcoin. It's durable, existing on a decentralized network, and it's divisible down to 8 decimal places. Now let's talk about something even more fundamental than Bitcoin itself. Let's talk about the value of decentralization. For too long, we've trusted centralized institutions. Banks and governments have held the keys to our financial freedom. But what happens when they fail us? Bitcoin offers a decentralized system controlled by no single entity. It puts the power back in the hands of the individual. That, my friends, is invaluable. In a world of economic uncertainty, Bitcoin stands as a beacon of hope. It represents a future where our financial destiny is in our own hands. Some argue Bitcoin's volatility disqualifies it as a store of value. They point to its price swings and say it's too risky. And yeah, Bitcoin is volatile, especially short term. But let's put things in perspective. Every asset class has cycles. Remember the dot-com bubble, the housing crisis? These were periods of extreme volatility in traditional markets. Bitcoin is still young. It's like a teenager, full of energy and mood swings. As it matures and more institutions invest, volatility should decrease. We're already seeing signs of that. Zoom out, and the trend is clear up and to the right. Bitcoin is holding its value over time despite short-term fluctuations. And let's not forget inflation. Fiat currencies are devalued by governments printing more money. Inflation erodes the purchasing power of your savings. Bitcoin is deflationary. As I mentioned earlier, its supply is capped at 21 million. Over time, as demand increases, Bitcoin should become more valuable. That's a good hedge against inflation. So Bitcoin can be volatile short term, but its long-term potential as a store of value and hedge against inflation is strong. Do your own research, but you might become a believer. All right, myth number 4, Bitcoin will just be replaced by a competitor. You know, something bigger, better, faster, cheaper. Now, this is a common refrain in the tech world. New technologies emerge, claiming to be the Bitcoin killer, the next big thing. But here's the thing about Bitcoin. It's not just a technology, it's a network. And not just any network, but the largest, most secure, most decentralized network of its kind. You see, Bitcoin's value isn't just in its code, it's in its community, its miners, its developers, its users. It's in the millions of people around the world who believe in its potential, who use it, who secure it, who build on it. This network effect is Bitcoin's most powerful asset. It's what sets it apart from the countless altcoins and imitators that have come and gone. Now, some folks point to altcoins with faster transaction speeds or lower fees as potential Bitcoin killers. And yeah, those are valid concerns. Bitcoin's transaction fees can be high, especially during periods of network congestion. But here's the thing, those faster, cheaper altcoins often come with a trade-off. They often sacrifice decentralization for efficiency. They're often controlled by a small group of developers or a single company. And that, my friends, defeats the entire purpose of Bitcoin. Remember, Bitcoin was created to be a decentralized alternative to the centralized financial system. It was designed to give individuals control over their own money, free from the whims of banks and governments. When you start compromising on decentralization, you're essentially recreating the very system Bitcoin was designed to replace. And let's not forget the importance of security. Bitcoin's network is secured by thousands of miners around the world, all competing to solve complex mathematical problems. This decentralized network of miners makes Bitcoin incredibly secure, virtually impossible to hack or manipulate. Altcoins with smaller, more centralized networks simply can't match that level of security. So yeah, Bitcoin may not be the fastest or the cheapest cryptocurrency out there, but when it comes to decentralization, security, and the power of the network effect, it's still the undisputed king. And until an altcoin comes along that can truly challenge Bitcoin on all those fronts, I'm sticking with the original. Now, I'm not saying that Bitcoin is perfect, it has its limitations, but that's the beauty of open source software. It's constantly evolving. Innovations like the Lightning Network address scalability and transaction fees. Even if a superior cryptocurrency emerges, Bitcoin would still hold value. Think about it like gold. Gold still holds value as a store of value. Bitcoin could follow a similar path as digital gold. With its robust network and historical significance, Bitcoin is likely here to stay. It's not just a cryptocurrency, it's a movement, an idea whose time has come. All right, myth number 5, investing in Bitcoin is gambling. This one always makes me shake my head. Look, I get it. Bitcoin can be volatile. Its price swings can be wild, especially in the short term. And yeah, any investment comes with risk. But to equate investing in Bitcoin with gambling is just plain wrong. It's a lazy comparison that fails to recognize the fundamental differences between the two. See, gambling is a zero-sum game. You're essentially betting on random events, like the roll of a dice or the spin of a roulette wheel. There's no underlying asset, no intrinsic value. It's just pure speculation, with the house always having the edge. Investing, on the other hand, is about putting your money to work in assets that have the potential to generate future returns. You're buying a piece of something, whether it's a company, a piece of real estate, or in this case, a decentralized network. Now let's talk about why Bitcoin is fundamentally different from gambling. Unlike a spin of the roulette wheel, Bitcoin has underlying value. It's a decentralized network, a revolutionary technology, a store of value. It's got a limited supply, a growing user base, and a passionate community of developers building on it. These are all factors that contribute to its value proposition, factors that you can analyze, research, and use to make informed investment decisions. When you invest in Bitcoin, you're not just betting on a random outcome. You're investing in a technology that has the potential to revolutionize the financial system. You're investing in a decentralized future free from the control of banks and governments. You're investing in an asset that could potentially hedge against inflation and protect your wealth over the long term. Sure, the price of Bitcoin can fluctuate wildly in the short term, but that's true of any emerging asset class. Remember, the internet was once dismissed as a fad, a passing trend. Now it's an integral part of our lives. Bitcoin could follow a similar trajectory. It's still early days, but the potential is undeniable. So the next time someone tries to tell you that Bitcoin is just gambling, remind them that there's a big difference between speculating on random events and investing in a groundbreaking technology with real-world applications. Do your own research, understand the risks, and make your own informed decisions. Now, I'm not saying that investing in Bitcoin is without risk. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme, and it's certainly not for the faint of heart. But if you're willing to do your research, understand the technology, and approach it with a long-term perspective, Bitcoin can be a valuable addition to your portfolio. Just like any investment, due diligence is key. Don't just blindly follow the hype or listen to what some random person on the internet says, even if that random person is me. Educate yourself, read the Bitcoin white paper, understand the technology, and make your own informed decisions. There are plenty of resources available online, from educational websites to YouTube channels to online courses. And remember, investing is a marathon, not a sprint. Don't get caught up in the day-to-day price fluctuations. Focus on the long-term potential of Bitcoin and the role it could play in the future of finance. If you believe in the underlying value proposition, the short-term volatility becomes less important. So yeah, investing in Bitcoin comes with risk, just like any investment. But to call it gambling is a disservice to the technology, the community, and the potential it holds. Do your research, invest responsibly, and decide for yourself. You might just be surprised at what you discover. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's dive into another big one, the myth that Bitcoin isn't secure. You'll hear this a lot from people who don't fully grasp the tech, but it's just flat out wrong. The Bitcoin network itself is incredibly secure, practically unhackable thanks to the power of cryptography and the decentralized network of miners. Think about it, to compromise Bitcoin, you'd have to control a majority of the network's computing power, known as a 51% attack. This is practically impossible due to the sheer size and distribution of the network. It'd be like trying to rob Fort Knox with a slingshot. This is why I'm always hammering on about self-custody. When you hold your Bitcoin in your own wallet, where you control the private keys, you're in the driver's seat. You become your own bank, responsible for your own financial security. Now I get it, self-custody can seem daunting at first, but trust me, there are plenty of user-friendly hardware wallets out there that make it a breeze. And once you experience the peace of mind that comes with true ownership, you'll never go back. It's about taking control of your financial destiny, just like Bitcoin empowers you to do. Don't be intimidated, guys. Do your research, choose a reputable wallet, and start taking control of your Bitcoin. Remember, security is a journey, not a destination. Stay informed, stay vigilant, and you'll be well on your way to safeguarding your Bitcoin stash. Now, don't get me wrong, the crypto space can be a bit of a wild west at times. There are scams, phishing attempts, and all sorts of shady characters lurking around. But that's why education and awareness are key. Always double check URLs, be wary of suspicious emails or messages, and never share your private keys with anyone. It's like your social security number for your Bitcoin. Guard it with your life. The more you learn about Bitcoin and how to navigate this space safely, the better equipped you'll be to protect yourself. Don't let fear hold you back. Knowledge is power, and in the world of Bitcoin, it's also your best defense. So stay informed, stay vigilant, and remember, when it comes to security, Bitcoin's got your back. It's up to us to do our part and keep our digital assets safe. All right, folks, let's talk about the elephant in the room, Bitcoin and its energy consumption. This is a topic that gets a lot of attention, and understandably so. But like most things in life, it's not as black and white as some people make it out to be. Yes, Bitcoin mining uses energy. It's a fact. But the narrative that it's single-handedly destroying the planet is a gross exaggeration, often fueled by misinformation and a lack of understanding about how the technology actually works. First off, it's crucial to compare apples to apples. When you stack Bitcoin's energy usage against traditional financial systems, including their massive infrastructure, global operations, and even paper money production, the picture becomes a lot more nuanced. And let's not forget about the environmental impact of fiat currency printing, gold mining, and the endless energy consumed by the legacy financial system. Suddenly, Bitcoin's energy usage doesn't seem so out of line, does it? Now here's the really exciting part. The Bitcoin mining industry is rapidly becoming more sustainable. Miners are increasingly turning to renewable energy sources like hydro, solar, and wind power, driven by both environmental responsibility and economic incentives. In fact, a significant portion of Bitcoin mining is already powered by renewables, and that number is only going up. This is a powerful trend that often gets overlooked in the mainstream media's rush to paint Bitcoin as an environmental villain. This shift towards renewable energy is not only good for the planet, but it also makes the Bitcoin network more resilient and decentralized. By tapping into diverse and sustainable energy sources, Bitcoin is reducing its reliance on fossil fuels and becoming a force for positive change in the energy sector. So the next time someone tries to hit you with the Bitcoin is bad for the environment argument, remind them that the industry is evolving, innovating, and leading the charge towards a greener future. But it's not just about renewables, folks. The Bitcoin mining industry is also at the forefront of energy efficiency. Miners are constantly developing and deploying new hardware and technologies that require less energy to operate, further reducing their environmental footprint. This relentless pursuit of efficiency is driven by the very nature of Bitcoin mining, where lower energy costs translate directly into higher profits. It's a beautiful example of how economic incentives can align with environmental sustainability. And let's not forget about the potential for Bitcoin mining to actually improve grid stability and reduce energy waste. By acting as a flexible energy buyer, Bitcoin miners can help balance grids, incentivize the development of renewable energy projects, and even put wasted or flared gas to good use. So the next time you hear someone preach about Bitcoin's energy consumption, remind them that the industry is not standing still. It's innovating, adapting, and paving the way for a more sustainable and decentralized future. So there you have it, 7 of the biggest myths and misconceptions about Bitcoin debunked. From the idea that Bitcoin is just a bubble or a gamble to concerns about its real-world uses and environmental impact, we've covered it all. Remember, Bitcoin is more than just a digital currency. It's a movement, a global network of individuals seeking a better, more decentralized future. Bitcoin is not just a bubble. While it experiences price cycles, Bitcoin has shown resilience and the ability to reach new highs over time. Real-world uses. Bitcoin serves as a global payment method and a hedge against inflation, adopted by major institutions. If you found this video insightful, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the Culture of Bitcoin for more in-depth analyses and personal stories. And share this video with anyone curious about Bitcoin's transformative potential. Thank you for watching, and remember, stay curious, stay humble, and keep stacking those sats.